President Biden and House Speaker Kevin McCarthy will meet today to try to resolve an impasse over the nation's debt ceiling. And the funeral is today for Black Memphis motorist Tyre Nichols. Good morning. I'm Corva Coleman from NPR News, and here are today's top stories. President Biden will meet with House Speaker Kevin McCarthy today. Republicans and Democrats are at odds over raising the federal government's debt ceiling. The government cannot borrow more money to pay bills it has already incurred unless Congress acts. The Treasury Department is now taking extraordinary action to prevent a catastrophic default. NPR's Windsor Johnston reports.
President Biden and congressional Democrats have repeatedly argued that the nation's debt ceiling should be raised without conditions, pointing to past precedent. But some Republicans appear ready to use the showdown as a bargaining chip to force cuts in government spending. The White House warns that not lifting the borrowing limit would result in the U.S. defaulting on its debt for the first time ever. House Speaker Kevin McCarthy has said that Republicans will not allow a default and that cuts to Social Security and Medicare would be off the table in negotiations. Without an increase by early June, the government will run out of money to pay its bills. Windsor Johnston, NPR News, Washington.
The House Judiciary Committee will hold its first hearing of the year this morning on the situation at the U.S.-Mexico border. NPR's Joel Rose reports House Republicans have already scheduled multiple hearings on border issues.
The House Judiciary Committee hearing will focus on what its chairman, Ohio Congressman Jim Jordan, is calling, quote, Biden's border crisis. Republicans blame the administration's policies for record numbers of border apprehensions over the past 2 years. The Biden administration disputes that and argues that its latest enforcement measures are working. The witness list for this Judiciary panel hearing includes a border sheriff from Arizona, the chief judge of a county in West Texas, and the co-founder of a nonprofit that works to spread awareness of fentanyl poisoning. The House Oversight Committee has scheduled its own hearing on the border for next week. Joel Rose, NPR News, Washington.
Separately, the House Government Oversight Committee will hold a hearing this morning. Republican lawmakers want to track spending on programs that supported small businesses and stimulated the economy during the pandemic. Today is the funeral for motorist Tyre Nichols. He died after a brutal beating by Memphis police earlier this month. Vice President Harris will attend today's service. Forecasters say a dangerous ice storm is pelting the south with numerous ice warnings in Texas. The site, poweroutage.us, says about 140,000 Texas customers do not have electricity. Police in Omaha, Nebraska say they fatally shot a gunman in a Target store yesterday. The armed man had opened fire with an assault-style weapon, but it is not yet clear if he fired directly at anyone. Omaha Police Lieutenant Neil Bonacci says he's grateful no civilians were injured.
We've learned a lot from other jurisdictions, other areas, other cities that have unfortunately experienced this.
The suspect has not been named. This is NPR News.